in that case, it's hard to prove insanity.
And as they say, 5 weapons and planned for weeks, right down to the disguise, right, dressing as a woman. So, Jim, on this, I want to ask you, we are just learning from a Highland Park synagogue official that the suspect was present at a Passover service in April at the Central Avenue Synagogue in Highland Park. Now, the congregation official went on to say that the suspect did not act suspicious. He left on his own. But what do you make of that? Again, looking at the prior planning that we're seeing here, and looking at, up to this point, the fact that officials are saying they can't, despite the meticulous planning, put a motive on the table here.
Well, Aaron, I think that this behavior could have been pre-attack surveillance that he could have been conducting on that synagogue. My understanding is there are armed guards at that synagogue, and he may have been turned away by that. But the fact is, when you're looking for a motive, I think it's very clear here. In his history, in his posting, we have a number of behaviors that scream out that he was suicidal and homicidal. And those kinds of ideation typically are found together. And when you feel disenfranchised, he's been described as odd by his classmates, and he's told people and he's posted on social media about killing people and dying himself. That's all the motive we really need. It could have been focused on a particular group, but the fact that he was suicidal and attempted it before tells me this was a very dangerous person to have access to any kind of weapon.
So, Josh, let me just ask you about that, because there was in 2019 an incident of an attempted suicide and homicidal threats against members of his own family. These were known to authorities, right? This was all known. The state police knew about this. And yet the state attorney would not say, Josh, now whether red flag laws should have prevented the suspect from being able to obtain a gun. And it appears that police are saying they weren't aware of the suspect's very detailed online postings, even though they knew about homicidal impulses, suicidal impulses, and they had seized knives from him, right? Even though they knew about this guy. So, Josh, how much of this was a miss by law enforcement, and how much of this is just that there's a lot of individuals who may fit this sort of a profile, and how do you know which one is going to do something horrific?
Well, after each one of these incidents, the first question we ask is, well, was this person known to law enforcement? Was there anything that could have been done to stop what happened? As you mentioned, there were these 2 encounters with police, one in which the suspect was suicidal. A family member called police. Authorities ultimately determined that that was not a policing issue, that was a mental health issue. He was under the care of a mental health professional.